Welcome everyone to another episode of Resurge the Spike ATL presented to you by FILA Sports Podcast. We're with Tommy today. Welcome, Tommy. This is the first time that you're here. We really hope this is not the last. So, down to some Atlanta United news that have been happening this week. Tommy, right off the bat, with the Orlando game this Friday, what are your first thoughts about the game overall itself?
Well, I'm sad because I was out in Vegas and I bet $40 on the game and I lost. I thought we had it. I made it into the game. I was like, this is
Right.
I'm gonna
It
win
really
money.
did.
I'm gonna win $40. It was fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch these games. These last three games have just been back and forth. But this last game, they forgot how to play defense. The wings were completely wide open, and it was just back and forth. That's fun to watch. But especially when you have a lead, it's not fun to watch because they just keep getting chances. And this was the first game where we were outchanced by a lot.
It definitely did notice. I noticed it also in the possession because at the end of the game, it ended like basically 50-50. And I mean, even, we haven't been playing great soccer, but we have been dominating possession, but we didn't even dominate that this past game against Orlando.
Yeah, it was frustrating to watch. Usually, our wings have been we've been able to stop them from coming down easily, and it was just let them keep coming. I mean, if Can didn't stop some of the goals he did, we probably would have lost 6-2. That's how many they had. Much better scoring chances. They had more, and they had better opportunities. Our goals were just fantastic goals.
Yeah, it really was more of like the individual, basically, moment. It wasn't really the Joseph goal was a team goal, but like it was also more of his part as well. He played a big part in that goal, like right from the beginning. But the way that like both goals basically ended up happening, I mean, it's a moment of brilliance out of both players, technically.
Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much been this entire season. It's been individual efforts. Moreno, scoring some crazy goals. Barco, off that set piece that he scored early in the season. Everything's been a lot of individual efforts where prior to this, it was, the team working together to get these goals. And it's, we're just having to have these miracle goals. Like our last win was, I think, against Montreal, where Moreno had that crazy header to win in extra time. So, it's got to get better, but hopefully Brooks is okay. He limped off, and if Brooks is gone, who's going to cross the ball into the box?
Yeah, and honestly, that connection, with Rob Valentino putting him up higher up the field, that's something that really worked well for Atlanta in the first half. You saw him and Ronald Hernandez really understanding each other really well down that right side. It wasn't really so much the same on the left side, that's why mostly in the first half you saw like every single attack that was coming through was going through the left side. They noticed that, Mikey Ambrose was not at the top of his game, and they really did kill us on that side, and they evened it out honestly on the second half because they were just, like you said, going down through both sides, and there was just no stopping them.
I mean, do we win this game if we have our United States guys back? Maybe. I think that when we have Franco, who seems to get hurt every game, or he's just really good at selling it every game. We got Franco and you got Robinson, you got Walks back there. We should be a very solid defensive team in the future. Adding Bello back there as well. We're only going to get better this week. They're all coming home after today. So I don't know what the rules are going to be about, do they need to quarantine? I highly doubt it since they're already in the U.S. But
right.
Wednesday, we should be close back to full power. I don't know if Barco's back yet. I know he's playing Call of Duty. He's always posting his Call of Duty stats, but he should be back too. So, I mean, it's getting better.
Yeah, definitely. with the guys coming back, yeah, from international duty, you should see a change. And with that being said, what do you with Alec Khan's performances these couple games that Brad Guzan has been gone? What do you think his role is going to be when he comes back, Brad Guzan? Is he going to immediately come back to that starting position? Do you see any type of change in the position? Because I mean, I know Alec Khan, I mean, has been tearing it up, but I mean, Guzan has always. I mean, he's the captain. He's the team captain. So, well, what do you see in that?
You can't. I mean, Guzan's the highest paid goalie in the league, and I think a lot of people, when the salaries came out and found out how much his extension was, a lot of people were upset. But if anything, this is just teaching us that Khan and maybe Rocco's Rios could be working in the future. Which I think those two salaries together don't get anything close to Brad Guzan. And I think that's the problem that we have right now is we have these expensive guys, and Guzan, I mean, you can't afford to bench him right now. I think we just learned that we have a good backup, and we'll see what happens into the next couple of years, because I think he signed for 2 more years. I know he signed the extension last season, I think, or the season before that. So
I think last year. So he's until 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so that's a lot of money to put on the bench. And we're already wasting a lot of money on the bench. Jurgen Damm is like our 3rd highest or 4th highest player, and he's not even getting in the game.
That's something I wanted to get and to talk with you as well. And I want the people also that are watching to share and comment. And if they haven't subscribed as well, go subscribe to FILA Sports Podcast on YouTube, Facebook. What about these guys that, like you said, are getting paid like big money and are just sitting on the bench and not producing the way they should be?
We got to figure something out to maximize your roster. And this league, and a salary cap league, that it's hard to understand how the money actually works with TAM and GAM and DP and young DP slots. You have a lot of guys that just haven't produced. I liked what Rossetto came in for instead of Sedgwick playing. I liked what Rossetto did out there. I mean, he makes a lot of money too. Him and Dan make a lot of money. So you take those 2 guys and you can put it somewhere else. Help some of the midfield. Get an actual winger. We can't be paying them that much money to sit on the bench. He's not a super sub. He comes in and he does cause some issues, but he doesn't finish. He's great in FIFA. If you love playing FIFA, put him in at the end of the game. He'll fly past everybody. But in real life, it's not working out here. And the problem is we don't know how long he signed for. So we could have him next year too.
Yeah, the issue has been that honestly the investment hasn't really been smart. I mean, from the front office and replacing, guys that, weren't getting paid enough. Guys like Gressel, he wasn't getting paid the money that Jordan Damm is making, obviously. I mean, and he hasn't produced not even a third or nearly nothing as much as Gressel did. So it's decisions also, from high up and, with the decisions that they've made with the past 2 coaches that have came in. Now you look at this new rumor coming in about Paulo Fonseca that's coming in as, he's already been rumored to be that he was at the training facilities of Friday, if I'm not mistaken. He was pictured with Darren Eales, having lunch as well.
So in that picture, it was weird. They were sitting next to each other. Like when you go out to eat with somebody, you sit across from each other to have conversations. You don't sit next. It's almost like they were on a date.
It did, like the way, that picture was taken. It was kind of weird, but also to what I heard, Arthur Blank was also there. So, and there was he could have been sitting in front. He maybe just wasn't there yet or something like that. I don't know, but it's just the moment they took that picture, it just seemed kind of out of context.
I mean, it's I don't know a lot, but I was on the way home, so I was looking up videos yesterday, and of his playing style. And luckily, because of him possibly going to Tottenham earlier in the a month ago, that was the
Yeah.
rumors. There was already articles out there about what he brings to a team, and it was exciting. But all these coaches have been exciting except Frank de Boer. I think nobody really got too excited about him as far as the offense goes coming in. But he likes to move guys forward, and that's what we need. I'm just hoping that people don't get on that. Well, it's not a South American coach or this type of coach. Just got to be a coach that gives them water and helps them move forward.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of opinions, honestly, on Twitter when it comes down to the decision whether to, go to South America again, or, go for a coach, with a pedigree, a pedigree name, or go here to the MLS and look for a coach for a Bruce Arenas, a Caleb Porter. In your opinion, what do you think is best for Atlanta United? Somebody that is gonna come from outside with new ideas, or somebody that's already here within the league and understand how things work and how the MLS is? Because you look at guys like Bruce Arenas. I mean, the guy has won with basically every team he's been with, and he knows the MLS better than anybody, honestly, when it comes down to coaching. So I would like to see, honest, or hear what you think would be the better option.
You look at the teams that have been successful. They're getting coaches from in the country, and like you said, have been in MLS for a while, and they stick with the teams for a while too, so that culture continues through it. And I think you have these guys don't leave these teams. We're getting these coaches, and we're trying to get them, these young coaches, at least with Heinze, and move him up. This was only a 2-year plan, I assume. I don't think Heinze was going to be here very long. There was already rumors of people. I think a team in Italy was looking at him at some point earlier this year, and he'd only been here for a couple months. We need a guy that's going to be here for a long time. We want to build the academy. We're still a young team. So I was, maybe hoping for a guy with MLS coach experience. I forget his name. I think Dome from New York FC. I thought that he was a good person possibly to come in. But the rumor on Twitter is that this new coach could be here for 2.5 years, half of this year and then the next 2. I'm hoping it works out longer. We need someone that's going to be here for a long time to create this culture and have this culture keep going. Because we switched out from Tata and the culture changed, and we probably should have won a championship the next year. We probably should have been back-to-back champions.
Yeah, that's something that I discussed in one of the episodes before, that the way that Tata left the team, he left a foundation, for Atlanta to be a dominant team, for the next 3-4 years. I mean, if you look at it, the next year you missed basically the best playmaker with Almiron, and Garza was the other one that left, if I'm not mistaken, the year after. So not many pieces changed, but yet again, Atlanta United had players to, keep on fighting for, championships and stuff, which they did in 2019. And yeah, they were only a penalty away from, going back to the MLS Cup. But after, there needs to be somebody that, like you say, it makes a lot of sense, to have the foundation, to where you want a long process. Basically, you don't want somebody that's just gonna use this as a trampoline, because if you look, like, after Frank de Boer left, he went right into coaching the Netherlands team, which made it seem like he left, or because if I'm not mistaken, I mean, I personally never really knew what was the reason why he left. They just said they decided to part ways, which, I mean, to me, it makes me believe that, he already had an offer from Netherlands coming in.
I think it was just the culture. The culture just was terrible. And then you lost Joseph going into that tournament. the MLS's back tournament, and you looked at the players and they were just down. I think Joseph was really the guy that kept that team together, with Frank DeBoer and Parkhurst. I read a lot of stories about Parky, really keeping Joseph and everybody together, the players that were still there, to move forward. But now going into that tournament, they lost Joseph, and the players didn't respond well. And I remember in that tournament, Carlos Bocanero was down there talking to Jeff Lorenowitz, like had his arm around his shoulder. And it was really weird. It's like, I don't know a lot about this, but I don't think that the technical director should be down there talking to players in the middle of the game. Yeah. And then he's fired like a week later. I think that they have good intentions of wanting to continue to, build the team. And I think that's what they said Frank was good at, was building those young players up. And I think he did that with Miles Robinson. Miles never had an opportunity under Tata. Tata didn't like playing Miles. And now we got, Robinson has done very well. But we need a long plan. And this guy just interviewed at Tottenham. So you're telling me that he's going to, with that big of a job, I don't know what it pays. And I don't know, I'm sure it doesn't pay, pays way more than coaching Atlanta United, that in the next 2 years, he's not going to get better calls, especially if he succeeds here, which is what we want. And then we're back at the starting over point over and over and over again. And I know that this is a selling league and it's a league to step up, to move on. We saw that with Almiron. Pity went on to, somewhere in Saudi Arabia, but that first year, you got to get your own guys in, right? You got to get the guys you want. And then after that next year, if you don't win a championship, you're probably out, and we're stuck with players that don't fit a system probably of the next coach. So my hope is to get a generational guy. Seattle's had their coach. I don't know how long he's been there, but since I've been watching MLS, he's been there. Renus has been around for a while. There's guys that have been around for a while and they're successful. Porter's had success where he's gone. So I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I am a little sad that we're not, getting someone that's maybe a little younger that is going to want to stay in MLS for a long time.
Yeah, it definitely has to be that way. You can't aspire, to be a winning team year after year, and you don't have a base, a team that it's like you say, willing to work like a process basically. Atlanta United, they have with the scouting, right now that they've done. You look at what this guy Thiago Almada that's supposedly coming in as well. Within the next couple of days, he's supposedly already working on his visa and stuff like that. So he should be here within a week or so, for what I've heard. They're young players, and you make a lot of sense in what you said when it says you gotta, as a coach, you gotta bring in the players that you want. But the thing has been that a lot of players, after Tata left, have not fit the system that the coach has basically played under. You look at Peter Martinez. I mean, a lot of people say he underperformed. He did, but he was crucial also in a lot of moments. Mm-hmm. He didn't fit the system which Frank DeBoer played him under, but he still somewhat produced, had quality moments. But to what I heard, he wanted to. Tata Martino was the one that wanted him, but he didn't come until Tata Martino had already left. So that's where Atlanta United has to basically be smart in the right moves that they make, basically, when it comes to the transfers and stuff like that, what they're paying these guys. I feel like a lot of these guys, they just have come to Atlanta United because they saw that it was a winning institution right off the bat, and they just wanted a paycheck, honestly. Because, you want to be in a winning team around, players that around good players, and Atlanta United has had good players. And they're just not willing to step it up. There's some that you see. I don't want to give specific names, but the back on defense, players like the ones that are gone, Bello, Brooks, Miles Robinson. Whenever they're on the field, you see the intensity that they bring, but I don't know. There's players that they just don't. They just they're not the Atlanta United caliber type of player. That you were used to seeing in the first 2-3 years.
Yeah, and we have, I think going into the season, we had the third highest salary, at least what was published. So we had like one of the third highest salaries, and we're not winning with it. We're not playing these guys. Jurgen Damm's usually hurt, so he's never seen the field. Rossetto's been hurt. I know he had the family emergency too that he missed time, but he hasn't been around, so he hasn't played games. So you got two guys that are besides your DPs that are hardly ever playing. And then these young DPs. I mean, Sosa's doing well. I liked what Ibarra brought in when he was healthy. I know we've been missing him too, but he's very aggressive. And then Eric Lopez just hasn't fit it yet. Now we haven't really seen too much of him in the new system, but he's got a lot more to give, for sure. The problem is when you went into this season and you looked at the goals of who scored what, nobody scores goals on this team. There's no legit goal scorers besides Joseph. A lot of them are good at assists. And let's see what it was. The year after we won MLS Cup, we were very spoiled. Joseph scored in like a record straight number of games, was scoring almost everything. And now we're at the point where who's going to score the goals? And Almada and the other guy, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, that has been rumored to be coming on board.
Joao
the other
Pedro.
transfer. Yes, they both have scored goals. I think they have more career goals than half our young kids do altogether. So that's a sign that they want to bring guys in. The problem is these guys they want to bring in are all midfield guys, right? Our midfield is packed. I mean, we have a lot of guys that play kind of almost the same position. Moreno, Barco, Amada, they all like to play. And I'm sure we can move one to the wing, but I like Moreno in the middle. And I kind of like Barco in the middle too. I kind of like both those guys moving up in the middle. But who's going to play wing? Lennon is good. The problem is that our offense is just so predictable at so many times. It's Brooks down the sideline, cross it in, then get it out very quickly, clear it out. Like our offense is so predictable. And maybe some more creativity in the midfield is what's gonna get us moving forward. Creativity that makes room for Joseph, because they just follow Joseph around. If you block Joseph in the box, who's gonna get it? Maybe Walks or Robinson are gonna be able to hit it in, but they're usually trailing back. So I mean, most of our goals are off set pieces right now. We need to score goals in open play, and they don't have to be these miracle goals by Moreno to come in. I mean, he's scoring these fantastic goals. We just need to get some guys in the box and pass it around and shoot. That's all we need. And Hyman was really good at doing that too. And we're missing him as well, and he's paid a lot of money too. So that's another guy that we're paying a lot of money that we have no salary relief for that's not playing. So it is what it is with this roster. But we've got to get some guys in here, and if these two guys come in, we got a shot at hopefully catching up on points here, because we're running out of time. We've got 2 games this week, and we don't have a coach still. So by the time this coach gets in, by the time these guys get visas and come aboard, how many games are going to be left? We're going to have to win almost all of them.
Yeah, with what you first said with the goals, it definitely has been a problem with Atlanta United even since the first couple of seasons. I mean, Joseph was the only one, a lot of times scoring the goals. There was nobody really coming in other than Tito or Almiron, but Almiron was just two years, and I mean he was gone. But Tito was, I mean, even after 2018, he really didn't produce to what everybody, was used to seeing from him.
He was injured, and Frank didn't know how to use him.
Yeah. He got injured that first, like first month or two right off the season. But uh, Atlanta United, yeah, definitely has to catch up. They're, if I'm not mistaken, what, like 10 points now off the playoffs, 10, 11, something like that. They definitely have to, if they want to make the playoffs, they definitely got to start adding points. Honestly, I really, with the guys that are coming in, to what I heard, yeah, there are guys that are goal scorers, and yeah, I had it written down as well right here that, yeah, that guy that's coming from Calgary, Joao Pedro. I mean, this guy's played 37 games last year, and he scored 16 goals. I mean, in Italy, I mean, for a midfielder to score that amount of goals, I mean, that's you know pretty good, really, really good. So
We haven't scored
it,
16 goals all season, probably. It feels
no,
like we
we
scored
haven't.
3.
I think honestly, last year if I'm not mistaken, we only had like a goal per game or something like that. This season, I think is not even
16.
that.
Exactly 16.
Yeah. So you see, I mean, Atlanta United really does need to produce more, need to be more direct in the sense there's when I was in the Mercedes Benz last week against Columbus, I remember seeing a lot of times, or even in the other two games, I remember seeing them just not being decisive enough in front of goal. There was a lot of times where they had space to shoot, or had a better option, but they just weren't being direct enough. There seems to be missing, like, a part of like creativity. They're just being simple. They're playing too simple, and it's at times, playing simple, it can work for you, but when you do it at a fast pace, when you're also being more fast, between lines, and that's not the way Atlanta United. They're, like you say, way too predictable in every play that they do with the crossing. You barely see any attack down the middle. There's something that has also caught my eye as well is with Sosa, that he really hasn't, going been forward as much as we had seen him in a couple other games. They've been using him back a little more of a as a this the defensive midfielder, which is not really his natural position. He's someone that works better with the ball higher up the field, and I didn't see the best game of out of him, honestly, this past Friday.
No, he was amazing early on. I don't know if it's because Miles is missing that they want to get a little bit more defensive help back there, because they know that they've got Ambrose and Franco, who's still figuring things out. I think he's playing better. I think he has gotten better, but he really hasn't produced as much as I thought he would. I think he gets burned a lot. So I don't know if that's just a situation, but what you said is that they're playing simple is because they don't have a coach that's actually a coach. Like, Valentino's great. He's Ted Lasso. He's so happy. He's such a happy-going guy, and they're really playing for him. When you saw Moreno score that goal, he immediately called the entire team to go hug Rob, and that was cool. You like those moments, and you see, you know, little comments have been made, and you see that as far as how they love this guy and how they're playing for him. That's great, but he's not a coach. He's never been a head coach anywhere. So, and they're short staffed over there as far as coaching goes. So I don't know what kind of support he has, and what his knowledge is, but they are just making it simpler, which is fine. But I don't think we're gonna be seeing any crazy tactics, like you said, at least until we get a new coach in.
Yeah, we're hoping soon, because yeah, this ship's got to get turned back around if there's any hope for playoff picture in 2021.
And this month's hard. Like, we got Montreal this week, who's been playing better, in Canada. So I don't know if I'm assuming they're allowing fans. So that should probably be crazy. I don't know if that's their home opener technically yet. Then you got Columbus. Um, that didn't go very well last week. Then what you have LAFC, Toronto, DC, and then Nashville. It's a rough month. It's
it really
you got to at
is.
least get 3 wins out of these 6 games that we have this month. We at least need 3. We haven't gotten a win in forever. So they've got to these guys might help, but they're probably realistically not going to be here until the LAFC game on the 15th. We got at least 2 more games without all this help. That's possibly coming in.
Yeah, we definitely need more help. Definitely. And with that being said, I wanted to bring to you guys the official sponsor of FILA Sports Podcast, which is Raise Energy. If you guys have not yet tried it, you should go try it. You get a 15% discount at checkout, so please go check them out. That's the official sponsor of FILA Sports Podcast.
I tried the orange one.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good.
Really?
Yeah, the orange one. Yeah, it was. I've been moving on to different energy drinks, and I ended up trying that. I saw it at the store and picked it up, and it was good.
I gotta try it, man. I gotta try it. I really need some new energy drinks as well, because those regular gas station ones ain't cutting it for me anymore. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all we really, had wrapped up for today.
Who wins tonight, Mexico or the United States?
Oh, yeah. With that being said, we wanted to touch, about the US and the Mexico game today with the Gold Cup. Man, this is a tough one, man, because they both haven't been really playing their best soccer, but I see the US having an edge. Not with the players, but coaching wise, I feel like Greg Berhalter has, basically done a good job, with not having, the talent that he had for the roster, like he did for the Nations League. Right now, I feel like he has, if everything changed the other day when 2 players came in for me personally, which was Roldan and Sardis. But I don't know. I really don't know. I personally hope that the U.S. wins. I'm not a big fan of Mexico. I know a lot of people are going to throw shade at me because of that, especially my girl. But I really don't care. I really don't care. But I'm hoping the U.S. wins. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, Mexico has the better players. They sent their A squad, and US sent their B squad. So the B squad wins. Tata's gonna, I don't know. They might call Tata up tonight and see what he's up to, because he might not be up to much. This is their tournament to win. It's always been Mexico's tournament to win here, and Canada. That game. I don't know. There was too much extra time in that game. There was way too much. There was 9 extra minutes, and some of those minutes added were because of those chants that they do over there. And I don't know. I thought that once they added that extra time in, because they stopped the game, really killed Canada's momentum. I don't know. I'm hoping that the U.S. wins. It'd be huge, and it'd be huge for Miles. This was really his coming out party for the United States, and I think he's played himself into a position where if they need some depth for the World Cup qualifiers, he's definitely made a case to get himself in there. Bello's just there to, he's gotten some time, and that was great. And Guzan's 100, so he's just there to teach the young kids. But Miles has definitely been my MVP of this tournament. Because I don't think Zardes even has a chance to go in and make it, up there. But Miles is definitely the guy that is pushing himself up to the main roster.
Yeah, because defensively, you look at the U.S. like you said, the more outstanding player that they've had throughout the whole tournament and every single game, the one that has stood out has been Miles Robinson. Like I said before, that the U.S. really hasn't really been playing as good. Even with the B squad, you would expect some games for them to have played a little better, but um, I still expect the U.S. to come and try to have the front end basically right off the bat. I don't see Mexico basically coming right from the beginning of the game, playing that full or like full pressure. I'm thinking more of the US. They're gonna be the ones pressing more high and coming, basically pressing up high. Uh, the US basically, yeah, they're not obligated to win. But if they were to, yeah, that it would be huge, and yeah, it would be honestly devastating for Mexico losing two tournaments right back to back to the U.S. It would be pretty tragic, honestly. But you don't know, and I mean anything can happen in soccer, man. I've seen a lot of crazy things, and I'm like I said, I'm rooting for the U.S. I'm really hoping that they win.
The last USA Mexico game and whatever that cup was, I forget
The
what it was called,
Nations
the
League.
Nations League. I can honestly say, out of like any sporting event, that was the greatest sporting event that I ever watched. It just had, that game literally had everything that could possibly happen. Tata getting a red card for massaging the referee, the fans throwing stuff at the player, stopping the game. That dude jumped off the stage. A fan rushed the stage and jumped off of it. There was nothing. That was the greatest game that I have ever watched of soccer. So if this could even get 25% of it, it's gonna be a great night.
Yeah, it definitely was crazy. It definitely was. I remember watching that and like, yeah, it was with everything that happened inside the field, outside the field, everything was just, it was crazy. It really was.
And now I mean, this Tata Berhalter rivalry is becoming greater, and it's just going to keep going. And then they just announced that game's going to be in Cincinnati, up in my hood in Ohio, USA and Mexico. I'm like, I got to get tickets to that. That's going to be a crazy game.
Yeah, I know that obviously, with the Columbus having a new stadium or whatever, the one you said right now with the upcoming qualifiers are going to be in Ohio in Cincinnati, right?
There's one in Cincinnati and there is one in Columbus. I forget who they play. It might be Slovakia. I don't remember who they're playing. But yeah, they have two games in Ohio.
Yeah, and I've seen the games up there. I haven't been there personally, but when I've seen them on TV, I know like the fans up there are crazy. The soccer fans are crazy.
USA is pretty big up here in Ohio, so they should be some good games up here. But tonight's the night. We're gonna beat Mexico.
Yeah, man, that's
2-1.
Yeah, I see it. I see something similar. Yeah, man. If it's not too, I see just the one goal. I don't see a blowout or anything like that. I don't see a game more than three goals. Honestly, yeah, like a 2-1, 1-0, something like that. I don't see nothing crazy. But
No penalties.
it would be fun. It would be fun though. But yeah.
Yeah, I need sleep tonight, so just no penalties, and I'm good.
All right, Tommy, man. Well, I'm gonna let you go. We already been here a little while, so thank you for coming over, man. Like I said, let's hope this is not the last time. Thank you for your time, and we hope to have you here another time.
Sure, I'll come back.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.